Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So for the first video that I upload in 2023, Happy New Year to everybody by the way, we do have quite an appropriate news drop about the narrative roadmap of the upcoming 6 months. So this time around, Kabam did not reveal the entire year's worth of story, but they did give us 6 months, and with that they also kind of gave us some very clear clues, especially about the first couple of months, and then past that we're gonna have to follow J-Ax's predictions, knowing that he gets majority of them right, and we're gonna see where we end up. However, I do not think when it comes to January champions, Kabam could have done anything more clear, because we already knew that it is going to be champions, well, from Masters of Evil, so it's going to be a duo of villains from Masters of Evil, and then they just kind of flat out revealed the picture to us, like in this was the additional image for the months of January. So here it is extremely obvious which two champions are coming to the game in January, all but guaranteed. Obviously, Kabam didn't flat out say it, but they've put out specific panel comprised only of, Absorbing Man in the center and then Baron Zemo. So, according to all the previous predictions and current in-game existing synergies, including the Jessica Jones one and a handful of others, it does seem to match all of that. So, do take this with a grain of salt, but it is extremely likely that the next upcoming two champions joining the game are going to be Baron Zemo and Absorbing Man. Now, I do know that there have been quite a lot of people wanting either one of these characters for quite a while. I know that some people do not necessarily find them their personal favorites because, well, Baron Zemo definitely had his chance to be added as a community choice champion, and he didn't quite hack it there. But I know that a lot of people are excited for him, and he actually does have quite a cool character, I would say. In comics, I'm not the biggest comic buff, but it is definitely vastly different from what we have seen in MCU. But either way, he's likely going to be skilled champion, I'd say. You could, I suppose, make an argument for a science champion with his usage of adhesive X, but he's basically just a super smart evil guy, and that's extremely skillful as combatant. And then we have Absorbing Man, who is likely to be science, but could potentially sway in the realm of mystic champions, because he does have some origin connection, I believe, with Loki, if I'm not mistaken. So there could be that aspect, but it would make more sense if he's science-based character. I do believe we have seen Absorbing Man on the silver screen, because I do think he was appearing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if I'm not mistaken. But again, quite a lot of people have been, waiting for this guy. Obviously, we do have more clues about that. The next month, February, is going to be all about Quantum Mania. And the picture that we saw there straight after Quantum Mania, I didn't manage to take a snapshot, was basically the helmet of a Stinger, especially also the line in the video that I will leave a link to in the description. The original Malcolms of Champions announcement narrative roadmap mentions family and Quantumania and Quantum Realm, Ant-Man and Wasp, so it does kind of make sense that the February champion will be Stinger plus somebody. We do not really have a clue on who that somebody might be, but it is likely that we are going to see Stinger as our Ant-Man's daughter here. So that is something. Then the upcoming months, we will see Young Avengers together with the Champions. The Champions is also like additional team in comics that I'm not super well versed, but it's kind of Avenger-ish look-alike team in a sense that they do have, I believe, Miles Morales, Kamal Khan. They do have Nova in there, and the one champion I think that we could kind of expect is perhaps Vision, which is basically a girl version of Vision. And, who knows, we could see Amadeus Cho version of Hulk as well, as he has been, made the Hulk in some of the more recent comic storylines. So that is something that we could potentially look forward. then the next storyline there is going to be Spider-Verse, so we're going to get another Spider-Verse event, so it's likely going to be a Spider Hero and Spider Villain. I do hope that finally they do introduce Sandman, but it did say that unlikely duo or unlikely pairing, and it did mention villains and heroes, so it did lead me to suspect that it could be, well, obviously one of the Spider Heroes. I'm not that well versed in the whole Spider-Verse thing, but we could also see a villain from the Spider-Verse. Then we have the Guardians of the Galaxy event, which is, going to coincide with the movie release, I believe. So it's likely going to be some of the new characters there. It's going to be Galactus, Guardians of the Galaxy event. And the final one in June says that it is going to give us an iconic X-Men hero. So it does specify hero in the description. But obviously, again, it's 2 slots to come out in each month. We might see a hero, we might see a villain as well. But they did promise us an iconic event. So in the next half a year, we do know for a fact that we will have this X-Men event in June. We will have Spider-Verse event. We're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy event, New Avengers event, Quantum Mania stuff, and all that other stuff. I did make here a brief summary for you guys if you want to take a look. That's basically the main hints that we have been given so far. So January, Masters of Evil, which definitely looks like Zemo and Absorbing Man. Then we have February, which is going to be Quantum Realm event, likely Stinger plus somebody. In March, Young Avengers plus the Champions. I'm sure that there's some crossover in between their rosters as well. Again, as I said, it could be Amadeus Cho, the Hulk version, or it could be Vision, or it could be a handful of other characters. There's actually quite a lot of the Champions that this could be. April, we have the Spider-Verse event. May is Guardians of the Galaxy release. And then June is Iconic X-Men month. But, it is quite possible that up until then we can receive a mutant somewhere else, as is. So, it is obviously going to be extremely interesting to see which exactly champions we are receiving within the next 6 months. So, I would love to hear from you guys. Which champions do you think fit these roles? As for me personally, I will patiently wait for J-Axis predictions, and I'll gladly cover that and direct you guys to his videos discussing whatever he is predicting, because I think out of everybody in the community, J-Axis is pretty much the more accurate one, or the one who does this the most and gets into the lore of MCOC, and is quite big of a comic buff as well. So, all of those things put together, let me know. What do you guys think? How is the next half year looking? Are you satisfied with these upcoming events? Are you excited for Zemo and Absorbing Man? Which classes do you think Zemo and Absorbing Man are going to be? Again, it's going to be quite interesting to see how Kabam integrates Absorbing Man, because obviously his entire thing is that he absorbs materials around him and then use it as weapons, so he ought to be absorbing some qualities from his opponent. So I think he could make quite an interesting character there. And then aside from that, obviously you guys know how I feel about too many Spider-Man in the game, but I think Young Avengers plus the Champions event does look quite interesting. Guardians of the Galaxy event, obviously something that I'm looking forward to as well, because it definitely coincides with the movie release and everything else there. But there is an additional point that I know that quite few have heard. One of the January champions, we actually do not know which January champions, has actually been designed by a content creator who is now working for Kabam, and he's Daddy Longlegs. So I do believe he has scheduled for himself a couple of interviews on a couple of different channels or podcasts discussing the design process. So it's definitely going to be interesting to keep an eye on that as well. Let me know which one do you think, it's Zemo or Absorbing Man. But that will kind of pretty much be it. That's about information as we have been given. The video was only about 2 minutes, kind of going through quickly month by month. I will still leave a link to original video in the video description, so you guys can, check it out for yourself. Maybe there's something very important that I missed out on. But yeah, Zemo, Absorbing Man, January champions, and then we have Stinger coming February with somebody, and then the rest of it, is a guessing game, I would say. But that is it for now, and I am going to catch you guys later. See ya.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the